MacBook, on the wall. Which model has the most dead PMUs of them all? It's a trick question. It's the MacBook Air, A2337, A2681. PMUs are dying like hotcakes. This one did have some liquid damage, and I believe, well, this person drove quite a bit to get here, or they're in town visiting or something. They took it to someone close to them who cleaned off some liquid damage on the device. We can see there's still some corrosion in a few spots, but as we know, cleaning something off is not going to make an electrical short circuit go away. See a bit of a mess back here, burnt test pad, stuff like that. Why is this not turning on though? Well, it's not any of this stuff. This might be a problem in itself. Probably grab a donor and just replace some of these parts that look ugly after we get the thing to turn on first. But let's cut to the chase here. No need to yap for too long. Helpful hint of what's bad. Oh, what does this do? Okay, we plug in power. Five volts, pulsing up, bop, bop, bop. Thermal camera cheating. Dead PMU. Again, you can. It's probably going to be like a short on 3V8 AON PMU. Let's check. We can be good boys and check what's actually short here. The PMUs in these die so much. I'm just gonna remove it and replace it. Could be, you know, I think I kind of showed this the M2 Air board repair video we had. Was it some other one? PMU. Sometimes you might want to just inject voltage directly into the line to confirm, but this is come on, this is dead. Okay. Let's see. I think I might have this on. Yeah, on DC voltage. Let's go to via resistance. See that in the lower right, and probably here. Let's see. Guess not that. Maybe some other supplemental rail around here. I'm gonna remove this and replace it. Dies a lot, probably bad. We're gonna pull another PMU off of an M1 A2338 Pro because that will work totally fine on this board because it's the same chip. Secretly, the CPU on both of these boards is the same too, but this on the A2338 Pro, Apple uses a fan. So it runs a lot better. Okay. This board's pretty small. I'm just gonna pull it off. I don't think we really need the preheater here. Preheaters can be nice though on larger boards. That will soak up more heat. So we're gonna go 430 Celsius. Get in on there. I want to get the little suction cuppy thing. It's nice. We're gonna use that to take it off. Okay. Let's get a little bit of flux. Let's turn our fume extractor up so we do not breathe our NC559 Amtech Flux fumes. We're going to go ahead and blow air away from the CPU because we don't want to heat that up. Sorry, Bob. I'll lower my chair a little. Jump the gun there a little. There we go. Oh, I love this thing. This actually makes it so much easier to pull the chip off of. Not sponsored by the way. Just can't believe I didn't ever get one of these. Okay. Go ahead and set that aside so I don't confuse them. Then let's just, while we're doing this, let's just go ahead and pull off our replacement from here. This one we got a lot more space around it, honestly. This is one that's very tweezerable. But still, honestly, for a chip's larger than like a CD32, I just use this now. It's great. Boom. All right, we got our chip. Set this board aside. Okay. All right. I had to convince someone with a Pixel 6 to please not spend money on their device. Okay. Put flux on chip. Micro pencil. Turned it on. We're going to put some leaded solder on the micro pencil, and we are going to swoop across the chip to get off all the poopy lead-free solder. Okay, so now we're just going to let this cool down, and then we'll see if it turns on. I think there's going to maybe be a few more things on here we'll want to swap out, kind of primarily in that back area. I may just run this through the ultrasonic too. Kind customer said this was clean, but I don't know if it was cleaned very well. It probably was ultrasonic, honestly. But yeah, some of this stuff just really looks no good. Touch up the solder in this area. I'll replace these Wi-Fi driver caps. That doesn't look too good. Clean this. What do we have right here? I kind of just want to remove this from the board because I don't really trust it long term. But you don't really want to do a bunch of heat around this. Yeah, a lot of those are not looking too good. These are just kind of oxidized. Also just kind of looking for any like 0201 resistors that maybe are not actually connecting to whatever they're supposed to connect to. Really just that one isolated area on the back. There's something over here. Yeah, someone probably did just scrub this with a brush and alcohol. I'm actually about to do the same thing a little bit in some of these areas. I think let's just hot to the touch. Not really. Let's see what turns on now. Okay. And then we are still kind of just pulsing. So maybe something else there. I'm gonna let the board get a little bit cooler and look at it with the thermal imager. We'll be back. Okay, so we can see I think our big PMIC was bad, but perhaps our small one's no good too. Let's check if we get any shorts around this line, around that small chip. If not, I think I can actually just order that chip and replace it. Could be a little supplemental rail though that's, you know, kicking back. And that's why we're seeing that small chip pulse like that. I'm just gonna see. I kind of think this is probably just bad though. I think actually I do have an A2337 with that chip still on there. I just don't have any A2337s with a big PMIC. Table. check that. Probably look at what I'm checking, but this is faster. Alright, you get a beep beep on one side of your cap, not the other. Well, that's normal. This is kind of the normal resistance on these lines. Okay. I think we just replace that too. That's what I think. Let's try that. Okay. Kind of same thing. A little bit smaller. I can still use the little suction cuppy thing. There's kind of some flexors to do under this already, so. Okay. We have a donor, A2337, to pull that chip from. Let me, I'm just going to go ahead and prep the area for the new chip first. Since the board's pretty warm. Okay, this is sufficiently cooled. I have a small bit of lunch. Let's see if it turns on. That looks pretty normal. 20 volts. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Let's put this back together and see if it works. This person did have some liquid damage in their chassis. We think their screen might be bad. Their main goal on this is just to save the information. I kind of told them, you know, fingers crossed we'll have good working MacBook too. But if the screen's bad, we can still just make a backup on an external display. Or if they want, we can replace the screen. I think I'm going to make a backup before I do any more rework on this. Please look. That doesn't look good at all. Let me, let's reflow that. Let's reflow a few things back here. do that, and I think I'm going to turn on the ultrasonic cleaner, and we're gonna give this board a proper bath. I think it was indeed just cleaned with a toothbrush and some alcohol, and then someone kept running power through it. Like this chip, not sure how well that showed on the camera, but we could see there's still erosion under there. Let me try to get that under high zoom. A little bit harder to see on the camera. That doesn't look too happy at all. Let's use Flex and some hot air to clean that a little more, and then we will ultrasonic this. Flux is a good cleaner. We'll leave those caps around the Wi-Fi driver alone for now. Let's do hot air. Recorded a very long section realizing that my microphone was muted. Board's been ultrasonically cleaned now. There's maybe a few other components that we'll swap out once we get a backup of this device, because the main goal on here was data recovery, and this is turning on right now, so I'd like to make a backup sooner rather than later. We replaced one cap essentially on the back side of the board that just looked particularly bad. And then reflowed a few other things, and then ultrasonically cleaned the board, so we can see like this chip here. Before, it just kind of had some like schmutz under it, right? So we reflowed it, we ran it through the ultrasonic, so now we don't have debris potentially bridging those pins essentially. And then just, you know, in general, this area does look better now after the ultrasonic, but there's still a few like these gray resistors next to the CD3217, a few of these kind of oxidized caps, and I think that's our ROM for the board. Perhaps I'm mistaken. There's maybe a couple other things I want to replace on this just to kind of long-term fix this, but it's working right now, so I'm going to make a backup before I do anything else. Okay, put this back together, and we'll be back once it's reassembled. Yippee hooray, the MacBook lives. The screen has really bad liquid like stage lighting. Probably need to, I suppose it's really hard to see on the camera. In any case, I'm going to blur this out so no one's name's shown. But there's, you know, liquid spotting essentially on the display. It looks pretty bad, but seeable. So I just spoke with the customer, and rather than fixing the screen, they're just going to get a new MacBook. I'm going to back this one up, and I'll help them move it on to a new device. So we're just going to kind of do data only. So I'm not going to go through and replace these other components, because this machine's probably going to be you know, recycled or repurposed, something like that. So we're going to back it up, help them move it onto a new device. Basically, data is, you know, saved. It's backing up right now. They don't have too much on here. It looks like it'll be done in about 10 minutes. Great. So as far as the issue here, kind of strange. I suspect almost maybe just the small PMIC was bad. I did replace this first because it had more aggressive thermal signaling, but then this did replace both. Could have been both are bad. Could have been just one. If it was just one, I would reckon this, because it was still no power after replacing this, and this one turned on. Both didn't seem great. Ultrasonically cleaned the board, and then really for other passive components that we replaced was just this one capacitor on a speaker amp line, which is basically just PV bus. This just looked particularly bad. Obviously there's some other components back here, these other caps, this speaker amp driver, little, you know, I think 0 ohm resistors for 0 ohm resistors just for 3.3 volt stuff for the CD32s. We don't really care about this in the interim for data recovery purposes, so we're just going to back it up. And this person got a new MacBook, and I'll help them get their stuff on there. in this case, this was liquid damaged, all kind of in this area, not really around the PMIC. I suspect that these chips on the air boards are just a little bit more sensitive, essentially, because I don't, well, I guess I have seen them quite a bit on the M1, M2s, Pros, just had an M3 with a bad one too. Something funky's going on here. Why is there, you know, I've yet to see a fuse blow on one of these devices. Like, why even have the fuse? The chips, the proprietary Apple PMUs or fuse. Not too much to talk about on this. Liquid damage, PMU, big and small, replaced. Now it works. This was cleaned off before it came into me, which made my life a little bit harder. Was this PMU dead when it was first brought into another shop? Maybe not. There's a decent enough chance that, you know, something over here was even just cleaned off more thoroughly, like in an ultrasonic cleaner. This might have just worked afterwards, because I don't think anything here was like electrically failing immediately, but there might have been corrosion shorting things together. You know, speaker amp line shorts to a data line, which goes through a, you know, 1 ohm resistor or connector or something, and then somehow ends up on perhaps this chip or this chip. Who's to say? Or again, perhaps a solar flare just killed the chip and it's totally unrelated to water damage. In any case, I'm yapping a little bit too much here. Hopefully this helps someone figure out why their MacBook Air is not working, and we'll see you next time I feel like the board repair is interesting enough to make a video on. Have a nice day, everyone.